You have to exit full screen there on vMix. The
It's
green
top.
at the very top.
Yeah, the top in the middle.
There you go.
There you
Yeah.
go. Yeah, just click that.
There you go. Now you can hit
Oh, you were
Cubase.
doing that before. Okay.
There you go.
Si, senor.
All is good.
El.
We made it really easy for you, Juan,
El sí.
today.
Es muy fácil.
Such mercy.
Yeah.
Know what these are?
You don't need to
Just
just
leave
don't
that
worry
alone.
about it. Yeah.
Don't.
When is this? When are we doing a Spanish show in Spanish?
You know, I basically speak Spanish.
Basically.
Basically.
Matt Fradd is doing his Pints with Aquinas.
In Australian. It's
In-
incredible.
I can't believe it. How much money do you think that would?
And how hard, I mean, like, just think of the talent.
You
Yeah.
could do a simultaneous
He's-
translation like the Vatican.
He's doing a
You
a
should
dub
switch.
over.
We could have
in
Juan
Spanish.
over there
He's
like
doing a dub over.
Is he?
Yeah, he's paying voiceover actors to
I think
dub
he's got, I
over
think he's got too
in
much,
Spanish.
in Spanish. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
he's got too much money.
What an opportunity.
I'm just kidding. I mean, like, yeah, there's big
I'm
market.
just kidding. Send him all your money.
Yeah, big
Yeah.
market there. There really is.
All right, Juan.
We should have Facebook do our closed captions in
in
Spanish.
Espanol. In Espanol.
Look,
Today,
don't talk to me about Spanish.
I'm
okay?
here to give you the assurance that I have not forgotten you.
If we want to see the new evangelization become more than just jargon, if we want to see it grow legs and gain traction and change the world, we have got to take seriously our responsibilities as husbands and fathers, and especially as sons of God.
I want to propose to you then that something that our world is desperately in need of in the midst of this crisis is Catholic Christian masculinity.
If you want to be a good father, then bring your children to confession with you.
I can't get there unless I become a man of ascesis, a man of asceticism, a man of training.
A man not doing penance, a man not disciplined, is not a man.
You guys have upped your game.
You know what, guys? I gotta say, I love the concept of Man Show.
Warning: the Catholic Man Show is about to begin.
Welcome to the Catholic Man Show. We're on the Lord's team, the winning side. So raise your glass.
Is it just me, or is that intro, like, is that super loud in your headphones?
Yeah, I dug it.
Okay.
I was in.
It's really, yeah.
I was in on
really
it.
getting me.
Yeah, it was really getting me jacked up. Adam and Ann here with David Niles to my right, Juan on the buttons, and we have a very special guest. We get to welcome back Father Brian O'Brien all the way from God's country in Stillwater, Oklahoma.
Go Pokes.
Welcome back.
It's great to be here. Thanks, gentlemen.
El mucho especial.
It is indeed a joy. I am a weekly listener, just so you know.
Right. All right.
Yeah.
I appreciate
And
that.
you're the also the chaplain of the St. Michael Radio.
That's probably why he is a weekly listener.
I actually have in my office. I have kind of the big whiteboard, and it's sort of like things I need to think about. So sort of weekly tasks. You know, write the bulletin, letter.
Yeah.
Other such things.
Homilies.
You know, homily.
Yeah.
You know, parish staff update, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I
like
have sort
new
of
underwear.
like other things that I do. Like I work in our vocations office here in the diocese.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm on like our personnel board, you know, so I just put it up there. Anyway, and one of the things I have up there is Catholic Radio.
Nice.
So it reminds me to like pray and think like anything I can do for those guys.
One of the bullet points, is it to work on your Harry Carey impression?
No.
Please tell me it is.
He doesn't need to work on it, bro.
Yeah,
Well, you got to practice
it's
it
been
every once in a
perfected
while.
for 20 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Hey.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
Nice. Very nice.
Well, Father, in honor of our forefathers this evening,
The motherland.
I picked a special drink.
Yeah.
It was the
Because
fanciest box I've ever seen.
Yes.
all of us
Where
are
is
Irish.
that box?
Yeah, right here.
Look at this thing.
Oh yeah, you're good, bud.
Look at
Look at
this.
this box. It comes in. It's Jameson.
Some of you are just
18-year.
listening, but if you're watching this, look at this.
It's 18
This is.
year.
I'll bet this is laser etched. It
Yeah,
is.
it's laser
It's
etched.
a laser etched box.
So anytime you buy whiskey in a wooden box, You know, you're.
I didn't even want to open it.
It's bulletproof too. That is a bulletproof box.
That's not true at all. Jameson 18 year is what we're drinking this evening. Do you want me to give the notes, or do we want to just like wing it?
Let's both. I like doing both.
Okay. So on the nose, they say aromatic oils with a touch of wood and spicy toffee.
Maybe some cherry. Yeah, definitely. You get the toffee.
You get
the toffee is pretty obvious. You
Right?
smell toffee.
A little bit.
You do.
As I think we've discussed before, I'm not. You guys are just more refined people than me.
On the taste, it says wonderfully mellow with a smooth and
On the taste?
On the taste.
Okay. I think you said
We're
taste.
very simple people in Payne County.
Yeah, fair enough. Wonderfully mellow and smooth. A mouthful of complex flavors of fudge, toffee, spice, hints of wood and leather, gentle sherry nuttiness, and vanilla. And the finish is supposed to be long, lingering. Finish carries the theme of wood, spice, toffee right through the end. Now, those are the official.
I would say it's a medium length finish. I wouldn't say, ooh, that's a long finish. I would say it's
I'm going to taste it now.
Okay, yeah.
Can I do that?
Yeah,
Please. Oh, yeah, we didn't even cheer. We're on the Lord's team.
The winning side.
So raise your glass. Cheers.
Dave started.
Cheers.
Yeah,
already.
Dave started. Premature Dave.
Sorry. I jumped the gun.
Yeah. What did you think?
Well, it's delicious. It is delicious. It's super smooth. If you're drinking an 18-year-old whiskey,
That's quite good.
You'd expect it to be super smooth like this.
I think that's a long finish.
Do you think so?
Again, back to my unrefined palate. Seems long.
I agree. Actually, I agree with you.
It tastes like leather. Did I hear leather in there?
Leather was in there, yeah.
I'm just kidding. I can't taste any leather. I just think it's neat that something tastes like leather.
I was having some leather today, and it does remind me.
I haven't had leather since Friday.
I had some nice leather earlier.
Yeah?
For your penance.
Yeah. I usually have some leather at lunch.
Yeah.
Are you allowed? Would you be allowed to eat leather on Friday?
Oh, it's a cat.
Ready to write. Let's get a moral theologian. Where's Father Sean Donovan?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not meat, but it is an animal.
I mean, it would be like you wouldn't eat like pork grinds, you know, is like the skin of a pig.
Yeah.
You can't eat that on Friday.
You can't?
No.
Okay. So
it's meat. It's animal.
Then no, you couldn't eat leather on Friday.
I would say no.
That's the quality.
I have not
answer.
didn't take a class on it in seminary, but I'm just gonna
go with no.
I'm gonna go with no.
Okay.
My vast pastoral experience.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say no leather
now,
on Fridays.
unless it's alligator skin.
Right, because that's not. It's more classified as a fish.
It's a fish. Even though, let's be honest, an alligator is not a fish.
It's actually any kind of animals that live in water.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So people might count. People sometimes.
Aquaman.
Yeah. Ooh,
you could eat Aquaman on a Friday.
I'm gonna bring us back here. Watch this, Father O'Brien. Do you know where your family's from in Ireland?
We are from. So there's kind of two sides of my family, and we know one better than the other.
Okay.
County Kerry.
County
Kerry is the O'Brien side.
Okay.
And I have a sister named Carrie O'Brien.
That's funny because you have a show about living in Payne County, and you also live with Father Carey.
That's true.
Well,
I always tell Father Carey that he has a girl's name. He likes that.
I bet he really likes that.
He thrives on it.
Yeah.
It's tough to like.
If he's ever like kind of in my face or like we have a disagreement in the rectory or something, I'll say we have a girl's name, and then
that's it.
I usually win.
Yeah.
It's like you throw a ball like a girl.
Yes, exactly.
So this is a unique blend of 3 signature.
It's quite good.
Yeah, and it's aged for a minimum of 18 years. 40% ABV.
That is good.
It's a very nice Irish whiskey.
You said it was about $130.
Yes, it's
wow.
It's expensive. $130.
I'm not sure that
we rolled out the red carpet.
I'll drink slower.
I'm not sure that I would.
Wow.
Want to pay $130 for it again?
Goodness.
Yeah, it's expensive.
Probably for the box.
Yeah, well,
the box is $110.
That's when he showed it to me. I was like, "That's how you know you're overpaying for a whiskey. If it comes in a nice box, they're like, hey, we want to charge more for this bottle of whiskey, but we're just not sure we can get away with it. I have an idea.
Laser etched wood box.
Let's get a sweet box.
Probably so.
I like it.
But if you like Irish whiskey, because Irish whiskey's kind of like the little like the cousin in the whiskey. You know, they just don't get the play.
Compared to what?
Well, there's bourbon and Scotch, you know, and like, you know, Irish whiskey is maybe it's as old as Scotch. You know, the Irish have been making whiskey
for a long time.
Accounts vary as to who started making whiskey first, because like at some point, I'm Irish, okay, so don't yell at me, but Ireland and Irish people and Scottish people, they were the same, okay, so it's like they're both kind of claiming.
Do you want to throw down right now, Dave?
I'm Irish.
Apparently.
We're all Irish.
Except one.
Except one.
One. You're not Irish? I thought Posada. I thought that was Gaelic.
Yeah. So, Pastors of Pain.
Your podcast? We have Father Kerry Wakulich, who is the pastor on the campus of Oklahoma State University. Go Pokes! We when he moved there 3 years ago, and I moved there 2 years ago, and we decided we needed a little way, kind of like you guys. We were actually inspired by you guys, so thank you. You guys were kind of well on your way of a successful podcast with a very specific audience, you know, Catholic men. And we were thinking, we were kind of brainstorming one night about, gosh, how do we, you know, we preach homilies every Sunday, and that's usually a major. It's meant to sort of feed your people for the week ahead.
Yeah.
But what about in between? Like, how do you speak to your people? You know, can we teach classes and we have some social media stuff? But we thought, let's try this. Let's try a little radio show and podcast. So we called it Pastors of Payne, Payne, after Payne County, which is where Stillwater is.
It's a great name.
And
it is a great
we
name.
have a little, little logo, but we keep it very targeted. We know there's a ton of great podcasts out there, much better than we'll ever put together. And so it's just about life, Catholic life in Payne County. So we talk about kind of how we prepare couples for marriage, and we talk about, the whole kind of coronavirus and how we're handling that, but very specific to my parish, St. Francis Xavier, and his parish, St. John Catholic Student Center on the campus of OSU.
So if someone is, let's say, or is a graduate of Oklahoma State University.
Yep.
They might be also
I think so.
Very interested.
Yes, very much so. So our audience is kind of my parishioners, his students, but then also like a lot of students' parents. It's kind of one of the ways that they kind of keep up when their kid, how was school today? Fine. Like, you need some other source of input from what's going on in the life of your child. And so that's our little podcast, Pastors of Pain. And we're on, Google and Spotify and all that.
Okay. So you can find it the usual method.
In the usual ways.
Okay.
Check it out.
Gotcha.
I like usual ways. It makes it convenient and easy. We're here with Father Brian O'Brien once on the buttons. We're going to talk about resilience. We have two epic stories that we're going to tell next segment.
Big time.
Ready. We're on the Lord's team.
The winning side.
So raise your glass. Sweet.
Which one is the bumper music?
Well, it would have been. It's going to be different now, because the bumper music in the first segment.
We got 30 people.
Tied to the intro.
Oh, okay.
So that's a different file.
So it's a different.
Now you're going to be playing segment.
These next two stories are going to blow your mind. You don't know anything about these, I don't think. I know you don't know anything about his story that he's going to tell.
You may have heard this story.
Possibly, but not to the full extent of the law. I don't know why I added that, but I just felt
which law? Is this canon law or?
Mosaic law.
Mosaic law.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Forgot about that one.
Never forget.
Someone still count? That still count?
It's all based on that.
Fun fact though, in Venezuela.
Natural, actually, is the one I was going with.
In Venezuela, you can eat capybaras.
Natural law.
During Lent, because they live in the water.
What is a capybara?
So uncultured.
Do you know what is it? Do you guys know what a capybara is?
Yes, of course. Because I basically speak Spanish.
But every year, there's like this big debate right around Lent, and it's usually like in Louisiana. Like, can we eat alligator? Yes. Crawfish? Yes. But then there's always like otters. Oh, look at that.
You can eat that thing? Do you want to eat that thing?
It's like alligator. It's kind of tastes like fish.
Oily?
Like shrimp. Yeah, olive.
Wow.
Interesting.
I'd eat it. I mean, I'd eat that thing. It's kind of cute.
It's the biggest rodent in the world.
Can you fry it?
Oh, it's a rodent? So it is probably oily.
Somebody said, Jonathan said, I joined late and they are talking about eating leather. That one's on you, Jonathan, for joining late. That's just
Jim
You'll
says,
never be late again.
Disregard that part of the show. just
go ahead and skip that. Just go ahead.
Just
keep going. Okay, let's go on. I'm gonna let you tell your story first.
Yep.
Because I think that would be hospitable of me.
Can we talk about how we came to this topic, or
yeah. Let's stage. Let's do some staging first.
Okay.
Yeah. And you think you can stage it?
Yeah, we're in the middle of a worldwide pandemic, and
right.
people are down and need to.
He's got it.
Step up.
We got this.
Right.
One.
That was kind of my thought.
No, I know. I'm with you.
Hit the buttons.
Oh. It's good timing. Yeah. Welcome back to the Catholic Man Show. I'm David Niles here with Adam Minahan and Father Brian O'Brien. We got Juan Posada on the buttons. Warning: the Catholic Man Show is about to get real. If you or anyone in the listening radius is susceptible to high levels of manliness, please be warned. This show will be harmful to your health.
That was awesome.
Just gonna throw that out there.
Good.
That was great.
Our lawyers will not be upset with us now. The warning has been fulfilled.
So we are, as we do from time to time, especially when we have a guest in studio, we are foregoing.
This is an amazing place, by the way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I was here, I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago.
Was it that long?
I think it was 2 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
I don't think I've been here since
Please
I moved
accept
to
our
Stillwater.
deepest
You've come to
apologies.
Stillwater twice, for which I am deeply grateful.
Please,
yes.
please
And I hope
accept
you'll
our
come
apology.
again if there was not a worldwide pandemic.
Yes.
Right.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Those darn worldwide pandemics.
By the way, we are going to give a tour of the studio to our Patreon members at some point
It's
soon.
awesome, guys.
It's not quite finished yet.
I
but
walked
we're
in,
getting
I
pretty
was
close.
massively impressed.
Yeah, thank you.
As one who has live streamed Mass from my parish from my phone each day, I am massively impressed with this operation.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I have a tripod.
Ooh.
I have 2 tripods.
Man.
Take that.
That is something real in the making.
It's handy.
Yeah.
It even goes up and down.
Does it have a crank?
Nice.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, both of them.
That's how you know it's professional.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
That's pretty good stuff.
Pretty awesome.
Okay, so we are skipping the man gear today.
Yes.
And what is our topic, Father Brian? This was
Your idea.
O'Brien.
So Adam and Dave and I, we've known each other for a long time. So occasionally I'll get an idea, and I listen to the show every week, and so I'll occasionally kind of get a topic. So I've been listening to this audiobook, which I actually brought with me. Look at this. If those of you zoom in, did we zoom in on that? No, I'm just kidding. Don't.
Actually, we can, but
so
he's not ready.
There's this book, and the book is called Fortitude: American Resilience in the Era of Outrage. And it's by a guy named Dan Crenshaw. Now, Dan Crenshaw is, most notably these days, is a United States congressman from Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not a political endorsement in any way. I'll listen to anybody. I listened to a book by Elizabeth Warren recently.
You caught a lot of flack for it, too, on your...
Yeah, people get all...
Yeah.
But it's like, she's an important person. She's running for president.
How
she
was
has,
it? How was
she
the
has
book?
something to say. It was fine. I mean,
Yeah.
I learned about her life, and she's from Oklahoma.
Right.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
So I'll listen to just about anybody if they got something to say and are like articulate about it. So he is also a retired U.S. Navy SEAL, Lieutenant Commander Dan Crenshaw. And in 2012, he was with his platoon in Afghanistan, and they came upon an IED, and it basically he lost his eye. So he's
I
the
would be
guy.
so mad
He's
about
the
that.
guy with the patch.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen him. He's only been a congressman since 2019, but he's the guy on TV with the patch.
Looks epic.
He was on Saturday Night Live a couple last year.
Right.
He was made fun of, and then he came on the show, and kind of gave it back a little bit.
Yeah,
but
that is the best move. You know.
Yeah. Google it. It's kind of a nice scene.
And
anyway,
let's be honest, when you lose an eye, you could go with the false eye, but that's just not as cool as the patch. The patch is way cooler.
He's
It is.
He's rocking it.
Yeah,
He's rocking the patch. So he wrote this book, and I thought, okay, he actually represents the district where I grew up, so I'm kind of okay. I'm kind of interested, and I'm sort of fascinated by him and his story, and he's very active on Twitter. And okay, here we go. So I started listening to this book. Anyway, it's all about resilience. It's kind of about coming back from getting knocked down.
Okay.
So he, is gets on this IED. His military career is over. He has to retire from the military, and now what? He could just sort of go along with life. He could just sort of kind of just accept his check and go on. No, he goes off to Harvard School of Government, the Kennedy School of Government, Harvard, and gets a master's degree, and then runs for Congress and wins. And it's just this story of kind of coming back, almost like coming back from the dead. And I was thinking about that in light of kind of the world in which we live right now. A lot of people's lives haven't really changed that much. We can't go places. We can't see people we want to see. But a lot of people's lives have changed. They've lost their job. They've been furloughed. Their hours have been cut back. It's a lot harder to provide for your family. Small businesses really hurt. Restaurants really hurt. So there's a lot of people who are very down. A lot of my parishioners who are maybe on the older side, are super isolated. They can't go out. Mm-hmm. They can't see people. And so there's a lot of people who are down right now. And I would say the country, economically certainly is down, right? Unemployment skyrocketing. Mm-hmm. And so now what, right? Do we stay down? Do we just sort of let it?
I know the answer to
that
question.
Do we let it? Do we just sort of, sort of linger in our lowliness, in our economic disparity? No, right? There's the idea of resilience. It's not like a theological virtue, but I was going to say it should be. The church hasn't thought of it yet. Come on. But there's a need to, I think, just to get back on our feet and to get going.
I would say it would almost be a sub-virtue of fortitude. Resilience could
yes.
be a sub-virtue
yes.
of fortitude.
Yeah, very much so.
I agree. And if not, it's certainly a human virtue.
Yeah, it could be a natural virtue.
In many ways, you need to build the human natural virtues first. Not in a sequential first, but in a things have to happen first, even if they happen at the same time. Anyway, forget I said that.
First among equals.
Yeah. So, but if you don't have the human virtues, grace builds on nature. So if you haven't formed your natural self, then the grace has nothing to rest on, so to speak. So you do need to have these just human strengths. Mm-hmm. God made us to have these powers, and resilience is one of them.
So he kind of tells the story of just how in his own life he has at times failed to be resilient, but most notably over the last 8-9 years since he got his eye blown off in Afghanistan, he has shown this great resilience. So he just tells that story. So I was thinking about that and kind of in light of where we are as a country, where we are as individuals, and it had me just thinking man, all of think of the greatest saints. John Paul II's been on my mind a lot lately. Damien of Molokai, my main man, whose feast day was last Sunday, May 10th. Talk about resilience. Getting knocked down, getting put in situations that are seemingly impossible, where you could easily, and this is where someone who is, and I don't mean this uncharitably, but someone who's weak, crumbles under the pressure or crumbles under the adversity. But it's the saints are the ones who say, no, yes, the Nazis have occupied my country. Okay, that's the reality in which I live.
Yeah.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start a theater program for young people underground, and that's going to be our way of fighting back. Mm-hmm. Wow, Damien of Molokai, right? I'm on this island, this godforsaken place with a bunch of lepers. No one's here to help me. What am I going to do? Well, I'm just going to take care of one person at a time. This resilience is just I think what our world is needing right now. So then I'm like, oh my gosh. Then I was thinking about resilience in my own life. I don't have great stories about it for me personally. I haven't had a ton of times when I've been sort of knocked down, and life's been pretty steady up to this point. But then I was thinking about my mom, right? My mom, Peggy O'Brien. We actually did a little Pastors of Pain. We did it for Mother's Day. It was called A Tribute to Our Mothers, where we both kind of talked about our moms in terms of our vocations. So my mom, when I'm 6 months old, I'm 44 years old. When I was 6 months old, my mom was diagnosed with a brain tumor. A lemon-sized brain tumor.
Wow.
Think of a lemon in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing.
That is amazing. Like, is there room for that? I mean,
well, it just squishes everything and makes you have seizures, which is how they found
I was going to
it.
ask, like,
yep.
did weird stuff happen?
She would have these seizures. So my mom, is not not a big woman. In fact, is kind of small, probably, 5'1", 110 pounds or so, you know?
That is small.
But at that time, I was the fifth of 5 kids under the age of 8. You guys know a thing or two about that. And was facing like death. I mean, was facing a serious thing. So her and my dad along with her, going in for the surgery. Am I going to come out of the surgery? Am I going to survive? What's going to happen? And ultimately, what came out of that surgery? I mean, she's still going, right?
So this is in the 70s.
Yeah, this is 1976.
So I mean,
it's not like we had figured
brain
out.
surgery today is
still complicated.
Yeah. But in the 70s, I mean, it's
even more.
Yeah.
So not as advanced. And so she comes out of surgery and is alive, but has kind of some like the left side of her body doesn't work as well as the right side, and still doesn't, and hasn't since that day. And she was, I don't know, she was 36 at the time or so.
Wow.
And she would have every excuse to not do things or to sort of heavily rely on everybody else to do things for her. And she just simply never has. The resilience in that woman to live her life, to raise 5 kids, 7 grandkids, take care of her family, was just extraordinary. And so not only like in the lives of wonderful saints, but like right there in my own life, like there's a story of resilience. And then short part of this, like my dad as well, my mom's in surgery. My dad is starting to plan, what is life going to look like of me raising 5 kids under the age of 8 without my wife, without their mother.
Mm-hmm.
Which would just be a nightmare.
Yeah, that's what I was
thing
thinking.
to
Like,
about.
I was putting myself in his shoes.
It's
in that
incredible.
moment, and she's like, "Honey, you better come." Like,
but both of them
Don't
just
you leave me.
okay. These are kind of the cold hard facts of my life. Now what?
Yeah.
It's not ideal. It's not good. In fact, it's terrible. Okay, but now what?
Yeah.
I gotta keep going. I gotta get back up. I gotta go. Fortitude, perseverance, resilience.
Boom. All right.
Man.
When we get back, we're gonna jump into the topic. I'm gonna tell a quick story about another example from our lives personally, and we'll keep going on the topic. We'll be right back. Let's just keep rolling.
We got momentum.
If you're good? If you're good with that?
We got the mo.
Okay, let's keep rolling. Welcome back to the Catholic Man Show, here with our special guest, Father Brian O'Brien from Stillwater, Oklahoma. If you've been listening the last couple of weeks, Dave and I have told a story, either of our childhood or something funny. That
I like the basketball story.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
That's salt in the wounds right there, now that I've relinquished that title. But something that has happened...
It's weird that it's a title at all to be relinquished, you know? It's like, wow, that's a story of your whole friendship entering into the realm of absurdity. Doesn't make any sense.
about
but
right.
Here we are.
Welcome to the Catholic Man Show.
Yeah, exactly.
So we've said before that Dave and I, we've grown up together. Our families have grown up together. Our parents have been great friends.
I love it.
Growing up. When my dad was Dave and I's age, about 33 years old, he was in great shape. I don't know if you know my dad.
I know your dad.
He's in great shape, big man, but not like he is in physical. Even still today, at 58 years old, he's in good shape.
He's a beast.
He's a beast.
He's physically something to be reckoned with.
I would not want to run into him in a dark alley.
No.
Right. And so at 33,
unless I was in trouble.
Right.
Then he would help me.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Unless he. Right.
So at 33, he was, peak performance. He was in great shape, some of the best shape of his life.
Feeling good.
Feeling really good.
Yeah.
Dave's mom walks up to him and says, "Hey, I want you to go get tested for something specific."
This is like right away when they met.
And
my mom is a nurse.
Your mom went up to Adam's dad
and said, "Hey, I want you to go get tested for this tumor. I think you have a tumor."
That's random.
And my dad laughed at her.
What
because
made her think that?
Well, hold on. I'll tell you. Hold on. So he
That's
laughs.
amazing.
He laughs at her, right? Because he's thinking, I'm in the best shape of my life. I work out every day. I run. I just finished a 5K this weekend.
I go to the I have a doctor.
You know, I'm feeling great.
I just met you. What do you know about me?
So a couple months pass.
Wow.
And Anna, Dave's mom, has done more research, and she goes up to my dad, and she goes, I will not let you rest, because the Lord will not let me rest until you go to the doctor and get tested for this pituitary gland tumor.
Acromegalia.
And so, and she did it. She was brilliant because she did it right in front of my mom and his mom. So they all heard it.
The women in his life.
Women in his life.
Of course, a mom would know what to do.
Right.
You know.
And so it was prime opportunity. She did it. Turns out my dad did have a pituitary gland tumor. Now, what happens whenever you have a pituitary gland tumor? You continue growing. Your growth plates continue growing. So like his hands are bigger than what they should be.
Your body never stops producing human growth
hormones.
Wow.
That's why he's so huge.
That's one of the reasons.
Wow.
I mean, he would have been big anyway, but
right.
Yeah.
And so,
not like.
Not as
he wouldn't be like 4
feet
feet wide.
He's got girth.
Yeah. And so this happens, and here my dad is 33 years old. He has 3 kids under 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Very similar to the situation. And they said, like, listen, you're going to go in. You're going to for sure have to take medications the rest of your life from moving forward. There's a good possibility you will be blind coming out of this.
What?
Out of the surgery?
Out of the surgery.
Wow.
Because they had to go through, I guess, the front of his nose.
I think vision is actually in the...
I don't know. That's just what my dad said.
Okay.
I'm not a brain doctor. This is just...
It's true. He's not a brain doctor.
And there could be some major complications moving forward. Of course, Anna's over here like, told you. I told you this, and my dad kind of rocked his world, right? Best shape of his life, a lot of kids.
Right, because he's still growing and getting stronger all the time.
And probably loving it.
He felt great, yeah.
So he goes into surgery and comes out, and he takes medication for 1 week. He can see just fine. He's no longer on any medication.
Wow.
But he decided going in, he said, now listen, there's a chance that things could be much different when I come out. So he planned everything to make sure that things were taken care of on the family end. But then he also said afterwards, when he realized that things were okay, he goes, no, I don't want, he made this decision, I don't want to have this hinder me at all. And he worked his tail off to rehab and make sure that he did exactly everything that the doctor said to make sure that things went as well as possible.
Yeah.
But he also made sure that he had a strong, he relied on prayer from my family. He had a strong prayer life. He had strong prayer warriors. But he could have easily, coming out of that, gotten down and used that as an excuse.
Yeah, for sure.
Just like, Peggy O'Brien could have easily come out of that with
woe is me.
Right.
I'll never be able to fulfill my dreams. I can't do anything.
Yeah. And
I need help,
But he didn't. And you know what? You know what I think happened by him going through that? I was talking to you because I've been listening to this audiobook as well. And throughout this whole audiobook, I've just said over and over again that I'm so thankful for my dad because he's already taught me everything that Crenshaw is talking about in this book. And I think the reason why is a lot of times when you go through these tribulations, these trials and tribulations, you grow from it, you learn from it, and you're able to pass on what you learn to others. And so my dad didn't let those excuses carry any weight in the house. It did not matter if you weren't, it didn't matter what your excuse was. That does not hold weight.
Yeah, figure it out.
In the Minahan house.
Figure it out.
Mm-hmm. And so anyway, that's one of the stories that I had about resilience.
I love the part where your mom, Dave, said the Lord won't, the Lord keeps bothering me to bother you.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I mean, she was on her...
And, kudos to your mom to, follow that lead. I think sometimes the Lord, speaks to us and we're like, no.
No thanks.
I don't think so.
My mom has always been a very good diagnoser. She's a nurse, and she's just really good at that kind of thing. And so if she hadn't have told him that, because his doctors didn't tell him that.
Mm-hmm.
He would have died.
Yeah, he would have been dead by now.
Yeah, because at some point the tumor grows and gets bigger, and
you can't get it out.
And it's just the surgery is more complicated, and
they live to early 50s. Is
max.
Max.
He'd be gone.
He'd be gone.
Well, yeah, that's amazing. I mean, just the idea of like, okay, I've been knocked down. Now what?
Yeah.
All right, I'm a man. I got a plan. I gotta take care of my family. If this doesn't go the way I think it's gonna go, then what? And you've got plans, and you're making. And I just think in this time, I mean, I think people are kind of down. People are. So I hope you can find some.
So let me ask you this: because listening to these two stories, what is it? Because there are some people who will get down, who will let themselves get down, and then there are some people who you can never get. It doesn't matter what happens to them. They just take it in stride. So what is it? What is the key factor? If I'm sure it's many things probably.
Yeah.
But
I think a lot of it is life experience. I mean, I think it's kind of in the Congressman Crenshaw makes the argument of like almost, parents, let your kids like face adversity. This kind of idea of helicopter parents and nothing bad can ever happen to my kid. They get cut from a team, and I'm going to go up and I'm going to give that coach a piece of my mind.
Yeah.
Because they've hurt my child. When in fact, your child getting hurt might actually be on something kind of trivial, like they got cut from the football team, like is going to prepare them for this major illness that they face when they're in their 30s.
Right.
Mm-hmm. It's a part of the establishment. Fathers protect, provide, establish. This is the establishing side.
I mean, Michael Jordan got cut from the basketball team in high school.
Yeah.
And that's maybe why he became Michael Jordan.
And so these moments of adversity in our lives, like we learn to, Pope Benedict talks about, like we learn to love by loving. Like if you want to learn to love, you start by loving a little. Well, if you want to learn to overcome adversity and be resilient, like it has to be faced along the way. And so in the culture in which we live, in which many times we're kind of protecting people from even ideas that might be apart from what they've been taught or what they think. This idea that you can't like confront another person with an idea that they might disagree with. Like we're soft. Our culture is soft and promoting
and we're
softness.
We're scared of suffering.
Yes.
Yeah. We're scared of suffering. And, what comes from suffering? I mean, compassion comes. There's so many good things that come from suffering. And if you're scared of suffering, you can't ever gain these other virtues.
Or if your whole goal of life is to avoid suffering,
right?
Then your life is going to be impoverished.
Totally, and you're going to be doing things that are silly.
Contrary to Christian ideas, like Christ said, carry your cross every day.
Right, and often like you end up suffering more along the way trying to avoid suffering. And if you had just suffered in the beginning, like you could have got it over with and things would be fine.
And this is what St. Thomas Aquinas talks about, effeminacy. Not willing to do the arduous for the sake of enjoying the pleasure right now.
Yeah.
That's what St. Thomas talks about.
Yep.
Sometimes I think our society today it's very aware of victims, and in many ways that's a compassionate and is a loving aspect of our society. But I also think that sometimes I feel like we've gone overboard, like, oh, if your kid has ADD, I had ADD growing up, well, he needs extra time to take his tests and he needs to be given all these, it's like, or maybe he could just learn to get over it. Like that's what your dad did when he had ADD. He didn't get special treatment on his tests. He had to get over it or he was going to get whooped for having bad grades. I mean, and your dad is a better man.
Yeah.
Because that was the way it was handled. Don't send me your dumb emails talking about
I'm going to send
how
you a
I'm
dumb
hateful.
email.
Okay, I'm just like saying that I think sometimes in some situations we've gone overboard with always making accommodations for people. When some people, they don't need to be accommodated for, they need to rise up and meet the challenge of life. Anyway.
One of the things that Crenshaw talks about also in there is how everybody reacts emotion-based.
Yeah.
And how they make decisions when they're super high emotional,
yeah,
which is
bad
the
idea.
worst time.
Terrible
idea.
idea.
So when we get back, we'll continue this conversation sitting here with Father Brian O'Brien. We'll be right back.
How come our Facebook doesn't have closed captions?
Oh, I forgot to add them on there. Dadgummit.
People are asking for them.
I apologize. That is my fault. Please forgive me.
The people who need them, though, cannot hear your apology. I'm just going to...
What would be the purpose of closed caption?
Adam.
People who... Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. People
who are
can't hear.
Hearing impaired.
Oh.
Watching.
Oh. Are there?
Yeah.
That's what this person says. Please close caption. Deaf people watch it.
Oh. Well, wonderful.
Yeah.
I was thinking like they're in a meeting and they're are watching and they don't want anyone to know they're watching. No, they're deaf. Okay, awesome.
It's for those people.
I mean, that's why. I mean, we've all done that.
Yeah, how many
totally.
How many finance council meetings have you been doing that?
I may or may not do that all the time.
That's when I catch the Catholic Man
It's
show.
late at night though. None of my staff is watching.
What do you guys want to hear in the last segment?
I'm gonna bring it in on a good.
I want to make sure we talk about the importance of not making emotional decisions, not reacting.
Yes.
Okay.
To emotional, like, because you know how, you told us, like, you said this a long time ago on the show, and I think it should be resaid. Like, sometimes you just want to say, like, stop, think about what you're doing before you continue.
Yeah, I want to get a billboard and make a billboard like across the country that just says like, stop what you're doing. Stop. Think about what you're doing before you keep doing it. Just like all the time. I see people just, it's like, you haven't even thought about what you're doing. I can tell by the fact that you're wearing that mask while you're driving in the car by yourself. You haven't even thought about this mask wearing business that you're doing. Like, you need a mask. I'm not judging you for having a mask. There are people in the world who need masks right now. But you don't need it while you're driving in the car by yourself, bro. You know? Just like, it just wears me out.
Very
like,
true.
Just all of the...
But so emotional...
That's just one example.
Yeah, emotional decision making and
Yes.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
not
very important.
emotional.
Yeah, there's a lot there.
So,
Okay.
Juan, also I just want to thank you.
God bless you, because
What?
you sneezed earlier also.
Did you mean de nada mucho, mi gusto?
¿Quién tú es dos?
Muy mucho. Muy mucho. I feel like when you talk Spanish, you have to do it in a low voice. It's more Espanol.
Sí.
Welcome back to the Catholic Man Show. I'm David Niles here with Adam Minahan and Father Brian O'Brien.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, so we're talking about resilience. And Adam, you were making a point about emotional decisions. You know, and it strikes me that you might be speaking in the voice of St. Ignatius of Loyola, because he talked about this in his...
spiritual direction.
Yeah, like his rules. You know, like, don't make a decision in spiritual consolation or desolation. Okay,
yeah.
Another way to say is emotional highs and lows.
I had a good professor in college, Jesuit priest, in my undergrad years at Boston College, and he would phrase that by saying, "You never make a big decision after 3 o'clock on Friday." And I've always just, you know, when you're just not in a good place at 3:30 on a Friday.
Yeah. Also,
you're just not.
Enjoying a good drink is also not the best time to be making decisions, because sometimes you can, you know, be a little bit more bold than might be prudent.
Yes. So just that idea, we used to in seminary we had a little acronym, and the acronym was HALT. Hungry, angry, lonely, tired.
Bad. No decisions.
Those are bad times
Halt.
to make decisions. Halt.
Stop what
so
you're doing.
Write that down, guys. Hungry, angry, lonely, tired. Think about when you're hungry, right? You're probably a jerk to be around.
Totally.
Right? So eat something and
Have
then
a
let's
Snickers.
talk.
Have a Snickers.
Right? Hungry, angry. I mean, that's kind of what Congressman Crenshaw gets at in the book. You know, these emotional highs. You know, someone has offended you. Okay? That's okay. I mean, it's okay to be offended. If somebody says something offensive to you, But then what ought to be your response? What is the, in our case, what is the Catholic
what is the
Christian
response?
What is the response, you know? Is it to, you know, to sort of lash out, which oftentimes is our first reaction.
Yeah.
You have cut me off in traffic. I am now going to chase you for 10 miles.
Yeah.
And I'm going to stop where you stop, and we're going to have it out.
Yeah.
No. You're angry, right? Maybe you're hungry and lonely and tired, but you're definitely angry.
Because then you both stop and you realize that it's Tim Minahan in the other car, and he gets out and you go, "Oh, sorry, I think I had the wrong dude." And
oh, I'm sorry, I was just hungry. I don't. Yeah. So I think
if
that's
you're okay.
Where's the Burger King?
That's a virtue we can all work on. I mean, just to kind of calm. All right, what just happened to me? What was said to me? Maybe it was massively offensive. Maybe it hurt my feelings. Maybe it brought up something from my past that this person, maybe they meant to, maybe they didn't mean to.
Sure.
But I am emotional, and I want to lash out.
In a glass case of emotion.
Yes, I'm gonna wail on somebody. But don't. You gotta take a step back. What's going on here? Have control of yourself. As I like to, there's a guy, Mark Hart, out. You guys have met Mark Hart at some conferences.
Yeah.
He has this great line where he just says, you know, sin is optional. Sin is optional. Like
totally.
When you start wailing on somebody because they said something offensive to you, should they have said that? Probably not. But you trying to beat them up or you lashing out, you sin. And sin is optional. So stop it.
I mean, Jesus didn't do that when the Pharisees were making fun of him.
No, but he did silence them pretty good.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I think it has to do with making sure that you have the end in mind, right? So like the sin is only optional when you entertain the idea of sin. If you know what the end is in mind, like if you know, like, listen, our goal is to be saints and to get our families to heaven.
Yeah.
You know, your goal is to be a saint and get your parish to heaven. These are the goals.
Yes.
Right? And the only time that we deviate from these goals is if we entertain the idea of sin.
Right. When we give a lie the credibility it does not deserve.
And that's what Crenshaw actually talks about in this. He talks about going through a Navy SEAL camp, and what would the master sergeants do? They would hold the bell to say, like,
bell equals give up. Yeah.
Right in front of them as they're going through Hell Week. You know, and they would say, all you have to do, say, like, you want to be done? You want to be done? You want to be warm again? You don't want to have this sand all over all of your sores in your body?
Just ring the bell.
Just ring the bell and you're done.
Ring the bell.
But he said, no, I didn't even entertain that idea because I knew my goal was to be a
ignore the bell.
A Navy SEAL. Right. But they got to do that because they could be captured and have someone torturing them. You know, like they need to know that these people can withstand the torture.
Yeah, but what happens whenever you think about the bell? You start thinking about, oh, it would be nice to be warm.
Oh my gosh, I could take a shower.
It would be nice to go back to be with my family.
My bed.
And then you deviate from the end goal. Like, and that's the same thing with the spiritual life.
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing. You start deviating, like, oh well, it would be nice to have a comfort right now and not sacrifice for others now. Anyway, that's
so
what I thought.
When we were talking about, you know, like people like your mom and, you know, your dad, people who are just, you can't get them down, it seems to me like they all have a deep sense of gratitude in common, that they're very thankful people. That, so even in those moments of adversity, they're not upset because they're just so aware, they just have that presence of mind where they're, of just how blessed they are.
Well, because, you know, I mean, I think in my, you know, my mom's case and your dad's case, Adam, like, they know how kind of low it can be.
Yeah.
And that's where those moments of adversity, you know, they say can kind of make or break you, right? I mean, those moments of adversity, those are things we can kind of call on and use as motivation.
Those are saint-making moments.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so, I mean, think about it. Find me a saint who lived a life without some kind of major adversity.
Yeah.
I mean, JP2, you used that example earlier.
Oh, like, my gosh.
With, you know, his whole family dying, like, by the time he was, like, 13.
Yeah, I mean, he's being rained the ashes of his friends and countrymen, you know, like, falling on his head all the time.
Yeah, and
then later in life, I mean, like, Parkinson's and, you know, kind of all those, and just showed us how to live and how to die.
And how to suffer well.
Yeah, and I think in all of these cases, I'm sure, there was another person in their life, you know, like, if you have to do these things all by yourself, it's almost impossible, you know? So, like, this is another example where brotherhood is important because there are times when you're down and you're you kind of see yourself, I'm not going to make it. And you think, this ship is going to crash. And that's when, or, if you're heading towards the cliffs or, like, ships can crash.
Sure.
You can crash a boat.
Okay.
Then sink.
Then sink.
Yeah, then they sink. Right. or they get stuck on the rock and break into like a bunch of pieces. Anyway, it's not important about the ship itself. It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor. But sometimes you have to have that brotherhood, somebody there who can just snatch you out of
your funk.
What it looks to you to be absolute peril, and then you realize kind of later on it wasn't. But I'm really glad that you were there to kind of smack me around and wake me up.
So think about it. So like your dad, who was there?
His family.
My mom.
Your whole family.
Yep.
Your dad, your mom.
Yep.
I mean, all of his.
Because you have a purpose. I mean, in his case, like, all right, I have this thing. I should probably just give up. No, I have a wife and kids to support. I have motivation. I have purpose, and I have these people around me. Right? My mom's the same way. Right? Oh my gosh, I gotta fight. I gotta do what I can to get back and go to physical therapy and like get going again, because I got a husband and I got 5 kids. I got a life to live. So there's that motivation. But I think for men, the idea of a brotherhood. As a priest, I have a priest support group. And I love telling people about it. That's for me. That's not a sign of weakness.
Yeah.
Oh, you need a support group? Oh, geez, like.
No, that's not a weakness at all.
I thought you were a strong priest. No, I am a strong priest because I have a support group.
Right, exactly.
I've got these guys that we meet once a month, and we share a lot about our lives. We're able to, to really kind of go. We challenge each other. Hey, man, you're not doing that. You need to step it up. That brotherhood of support, and it can come from the family. It can come from the parish. It can come from a lot of different places.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people will tell you things that you don't necessarily like, but you need to hear. And because of today's culture of like, if you say something I don't like, that means you don't like me.
Right. It's all relativistic, like, how dare you criticize my opinions because they're mine and they're absolute.
I mean, for example, there have been times you've emailed us and said, hey, it'd be, maybe watch out when you say this or this or this. And it's like, and it's like,
and we both were like,
what?
Man,
I hate him.
Well, what it did was
we're finding a new priest.
No, what it did was it actually made me like see it from a different lens. It made me see it from a different angle. And I realized, oh, well, maybe.
Yeah, and thank you for.
I forget that. What those even were.
I don't remember either.
But
yeah.
But that's why we have you as a spiritual director, not because.
But I would say it goes the same way. I mean, I think you guys, when I listen to your show, I mean, several points where I'm like, oh, that is a big time challenge those guys are throwing down. And am I living that in my own individual life? No, dang, I need to.
But I know the reason why you do that is not because you're criticizing us just to criticize. You're trying to make us a better men.
Yeah.
You're trying.
Yeah, because I know you guys. I mean, you guys have a lot of influence on a lot of guys, and so to help, including some guys in my own parish. If my job is to get my guys to heaven, then it's a little of an indirect way.
Yeah.
Well, but we need that. We need kind of those slaps in the face, a little bit of sometimes like, oh, I guess I didn't see it from that angle. That is a good point. And you can't receive that if you're thinking that everybody's out to get you.
Yeah.
If you think everybody's out to get you and that you're the victim here every time, then you're not going to be able to see that other people are trying to help you and maybe take, criticizing you rightly.
Yeah.
And maybe your reaction, I mean, I don't know I usually send you an email or a text or something and and you can like read it and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so mad. I hate that guy, But then you calm down.
Right. Don't let emotions...
Calm down. Read it again.
Yeah.
Go to sleep. Pray. Read it again.
Yep.
Okay.
There it is. Oh,
now
I see.
I'm not hungry, angry, lonely, tired. Now I can be resilient, pick myself back up, and
another thing is that these stories all involve people who have a well-discerned vocation. Knowing your vocation puts you on a good path. So get there if you haven't.
Father Brian, it's always a pleasure to have you.
It's a joy. Thanks, guys.
We're on the Lord's team.
The winning side.
So raise your glass and cheers to Jesus.
I think we got through everything that I was...
Winner.
Or we at least text message about, didn't we?
Yeah.
Which is pretty impressive.
Good stories and...
Apparently, I'm on fire tonight.
Well,
yeah. Are you getting good comments?
Yeah.
Nice.
So, also, it's a laughing face emoji. So,
so context is everything.
Yeah.
Oh man,
that's funny.
Father Brian O'Brien.
Are we still on?
We're still.
We
live.
still are. Yeah.
We're still live.
For the live people.
I asked this to a lot of priests. I think I may have asked you off mic.
I'm nervous.
Yes, but I think it's an important question to ask. So, if you could have your men that are in your parish do something for you that you wouldn't necessarily like say, like, guys, I need you to do that. You just want them to take control, like, or you just want them to do something for you that would make your life to where you could live the, administer the sacramental life better. What would that be? Like, what would you want your guys in your parish to do?
That they would cover holy hours of Eucharistic adoration at our parish.
That is a good one.
That is a good.
We have Eucharistic adoration, but one of the things, like during COVID-19 and all this, like we stopped having adoration, and one of the reasons
you
was
have a pretty small adoration chapel.
So usually we have it all day Wednesday, and we stopped doing that because most of the people who cover hours are older. And so we're not coming out. So we were going to have a lot of trouble sort of covering all those hours, and it's not, there are not a lot of men who are covering those hours.
So Father Joe one time, I don't remember what the context was. Oh, we were going to be doing like 3 days of adoration or something.
Yeah. 72 hours of perpetual adoration.
4 or something, I don't remember. But he said, in Mass, men, I expect you to sign up. It said, this is a big parish. I expect after this Mass for that sheet to be full.
Wow.
And like, he meant it. And I was like, you got it. I'm doing it.
In fact,
I still have that adoration hour because he told me.
Wow.
And I remember that we were at Mass together, and I remember like thinking, like, when he first said, like, we're gonna be doing this, and in my head I was thinking, like, I probably should.
I said, I already have an adoration hour.
I should probably sign up though to help out. But I was very wishy-washy in the idea of it, and then he followed it up with, "I expect you to have an hour," and I go,
"Nice."
Well,
it was a manly move,
I like it.
But like,
and I signed up as well.
Yeah, because you guys have met him. You've been out there twice. I mean, we have a great group of men. Great Knights of Columbus.
Yeah. Active,
and they do a lot. I mean, they really do. And I'm not just talking to the Knights of Columbus, but like I think with any of the men listening, like that is something you can do for your priest, is cover those, especially like go up to your priest and say, "Hey, I know we have Eucharistic adoration. What's the hardest? Like, what hour is the hardest to keep filled?" And then just whatever he answers, take that. He might say 2 a.m. He might say 5 p.m. He might say the most convenient time for you. He probably won't.
Yeah,
I doubt it. He'll probably say a really inconvenient time. Oh, that's when I watch.
Do this.
I watch football then.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
But just do it. Do it kind of as a leap of faith, act of faith. Go up, or the Eucharistic adoration coordinator, whoever that is. That would be super helpful.
That's something that, like, if you want to take your spiritual life seriously and you don't have at least one weekly adoration hour, then I just think, this is David Niles' opinion. You have to ask whether you are serious about taking your spiritual life seriously. Because if you don't, I just am not sure. Either you don't understand the impact. That's a very real possibility. Yep. You don't understand the impact of Eucharistic adoration. And if not, you got to go and check it out.
Yep.
Because it's bomb.
But if you know about adoration and you don't have a weekly hour, I'm just not sure you're serious about it.
I don't even want to talk to you.
Yeah.
You know what?
How's that for a slap in the face?
Leave me a voicemail. I may get back to you.
Probably won't. All right.
That's great.
Good. Anything else?
No, we're good.
All right. Thanks
We're
again.
good. What a joy.